Well, months after it was invaded, the intense interest in the Ukraine conflict is waning, and its president is now fighting to keep the war front and centre. President Vlodmyer Zelenskyy has invited Australia's Prime Minister to Kyiv and is extending similar invitations to high-profile citizens of allied countries. Celebrities, including Ben Stiller, are just some of the latest to bring attention to the situation there.
Zelenskyy's relentless campaign to win hearts and minds abroad has attracted funding and aid from allies, including us here in Australia. Advertising and marketing experts Dee Madigan and Bywater are with us this morning. Morning to you both. Maddie, Ukraine's President Vlodmyer Zelenskyy has done a good job, I think, of keeping the conflict front and centre, but he's in a difficult position now because it's been going for a lot of months.
Yeah, and people tend to forget things over time. We had all that big news and media, all the big splash early on, and then it's lost. It's just like people just get interested in other things.
Yeah.
And he's done a great job of keeping things moving. He's always been, that's why he's been inviting all these foreign governments and ministers and celebrities to come out, because he's got to keep highlighting the war and the efforts going on, because he needs public support in those countries to keep getting the financial support he needs to actually defend against Russia.
Speaking of doing well, sort of cultivating global support, Anthony Albanese has done that, Dee, really well, I think, since taking power. Would you advise him at the current state to actually go and visit Kyiv at the moment, the way things are placed?
I wouldn't be advising him. What I'd be saying is you'd listen to security on that. The problem is when you're the Prime Minister, you go to a country, you have an entourage with you as well. You could be putting them at risk, so you absolutely, this is something where it's not about PR, it's not about spin, it's about lives and protecting lives.
Australia's put in a lot of money supporting the humanitarian crisis as well, so perhaps, you know, leading and supporting that way is one way of doing it. It's whether he actually physically goes.
Exactly that, and if he physically goes, as I said, that's actually possibly putting at risk the people he's with as well, because you are a target when you're over there.
But if you're advising Zelenskyy, you want him to be there, because you want that photo op. You want everyone, you want 25 million Australians going, here's the Prime Minister of Australia in a war zone, because we support the effort.
But I wonder, I mean, how the influence of someone like Ben Stiller going, for it to be safe enough for Ben Stiller, but for then our Prime Minister to say, you know, we just don't think it's safe enough.
Because Ben Stiller can go by himself.
Yes,
Our Prime Minister would have. Yeah, he is a bigger target. And also, he has to think, well, if I'm doing that, I'm not doing other things as well. I'm just coming to government. Australia's got a lot of things that need to do. Is it actually in Australia's best interest for him to be there? And he has to put Australia's best interest first.
Yeah, OK.
A real change of pace here, but I want to ask you about Menulog, which has been recruiting famous faces for its campaigns for many years. The latest is Wendall Sailor, a league legend, of course, who starred in an ad that played at Game 2 of the State of Origin. He was used by the brand to respond to backlash over its ads that used Katy Perry and also ran during Game 1. What do you think about this, Dee?
Look, it's clever because in a way it makes people who haven't seen the Katy Perry ad go and say, gee, was it that bad? I think Menulog need to be a little bit careful the money they spend on these when you see horror stories about how little delivery workers are paid and accidents and things like that. I think that it's a fun campaign, but there's a lot of risk associated with it.
What do you think, Matt?
I like what they're doing because what they're trying to do is stay relevant. And I get what Dee says about the workers, and to me that's another issue they need to deal with. Menulog are like third in the list in Australia. We've got Uber Eats and we've got Deliveroo up there, and they're catching up. And so that's why they're spending so much money, because in this space, people forget you. You've got to be top of mind. And when you're third, you don't make the cut.
I tell you, I've never ordered from Menulog. My kids walk around singing the Menulog song.
Yeah.
It is catchy, isn't it?
Yeah. They brought back the jingle. Nobody does jingles anymore. Yeah. And they brought it back. And it's so powerful when you do that. And they need to do it particularly because they're using celebrities. Your advertising can get lost when you use celebrities. Yeah. By bringing the jingle in, you actually keep your branding up front of mind.
Interesting to know.
Even though I've never ordered it, but still.
That's the thing, whether the jingle translates to orders. That's something that goes well beyond our IQ levels.
You look at the restaurant, and if it's not ordered, if it's not available through one, then you go on the other one.
It's whichever one's going to come quick, and you know. All right, thank you both.
I've got whole strategies for ordering.
I know you
anyway,
do, and you tell me.